you ever feel like she wants you to be both her rock and her best friend, her protector and her equal, emotionally open, and the guy who goes downstairs with a baseball bat at 3 a.m. when you hear a bump? If you've ever felt like no matter what you do, the goalposts to keep women happy keep moving? Well, if so, you're not alone. But here's what nobody tells you. This is not a bug, it's a feature. And before I run through this list, I need you to hear something. These paradoxes are not proof that women are irrational. These are proof that women and all human desire really is layered and complex. Women are socialized to want both security and excitement, to want partnership and polarity, and nobody hands men a manual for how to do all of that. You are just supposed to figure it out. And when you feel like you can't, you often feel like you're failing, and sometimes want to take yourself out of the dating pool entirely. But let me tell you, you are not failing. You just haven't heard it broken down like this. So here are 10 things that women want from men that are actually impossible to do at the same time and contradict each other, and then what to do about it. We want both a best friend and a boyfriend. She wants you to be the person that she tells everything to. Her anxiety spiral, the work drama, the does this look weird text, and the person who she's sexually attracted to. But the more that you become her emotional support system, the harder it can be for her to see you as a sexual being. For example, let's say you spent a whole Sunday helping her process a fight that she got into with her mom. You're patient, you listen, you say all the right things, and then that night you go to initiate sex and she says she's not in the mood. And you're thinking, but wait, I just did everything right. Well, these two roles are very different energies. No, you don't have to choose one. In fact, you can't, but you do need to know when and how to shift gears. The friend is about safety, and the boyfriend is about that electrical, magnetic, erotic charge. So don't collapse into just one. She wants you to be both her provider and her equal. Most women want 50-50, equal pay, shared responsibility, shared chore load around the house, and we mean it. And at the same time, the cultural expectation is that you will earn and provide and handle things, especially financially, when things have gone sideways. Now, those expectations haven't gone anywhere, they've just been added onto. She says that everything is equal, but when the car breaks down or the tax bill hits, there's an unspoken pressure pushing in your direction. And if you express stress about money, it lands differently than when she does. Now, this isn't hypocrisy. It is a cultural transition that we are all going through in real time, and no one has the final draft of this script yet. So when you talk about equal and what it actually means in your relationship, you have to make that up for your relationship and not what folks on the internet, including me, say that it should mean. Number 3, both a coach and a cheerleader. She comes to you with a problem. You listen, you offer a clear logical solution because you are a man and that is what you are wired to do. Then she gets frustrated. You're confused. You literally just solved it. You're welcome. Let's look at it like this. She says my boss is being impossible. And you say, have you talked to HR? And her response is, you're not listening. And you're sitting there like, what? I just did it. Here's the cheat code for managing this. It's one sentence, and it is, do you want me to help you figure this out, or do you just need me to be here and listen right now? That one question will save you hundreds of arguments in the long term, and that, my friends, is not weakness, that is precision. And also it gets to your goal of solving the thing, because now you have a different question to solve for. Number 4, she wants you to be both safe and exciting. She wants to feel completely secure in your commitment to her, and she wants to feel that energetic, almost dangerous charge, especially in the bedroom. Everything is stable, you're a great partner, date nights are consistent, and then she reads a spicy novel and suddenly she's craving something more. And you're thinking, I thought we were good. This is Esther Perel's entire thesis. Eroticism needs a little distance, a little mystery. Domesticity compresses that space. We wake up together, we fall asleep together, we're in each other's faces all day, we can text when we can't see each other, we are on top of each other. There is very little mystery there. The men who keep long-term desire alive aren't the ones who become someone different. They're the ones who just stay a little unpredictable, who keep growing, who don't become completely complacent, who go to coaching, who try new things, who develop new skills, who keep discovering about themselves. And that way you can be both her safe place and keep her guessing. Number 5, we want you to be both honest and curated. She says, "Tell me your fantasies. I want to know everything." And she means it emotionally. But realistically, like in practice, what she really means is the fantasies that fall neatly inside of her comfort zone. And if what you reveal is edgier than what she's ready for, that invitation can snap shut fast. So say you share something that is relatively mild to you, but it's way outside of her window. Suddenly, you can be met with silence, maybe even judgment. You can feel like you just confessed a crime. Now, the fix to this isn't being dishonest, it's about being calibrated. You're not hiding who you are, but you are reading the room and introducing your inner world at a pace that she can actually receive. Think of it like emotional pacing, just the same way that trust and vulnerability and closeness are built, one small step at a time as opposed to all at once. So share progressively, not suppressing yourself, but being discerning. Read her signals, and if she shuts down, that's just information. It has nothing to do with who you are. Number 6, she wants you to be both attractive and committed. She wants other women to want you. She wants to feel like she is with a man who has options, and she wants to know that you would never act on it. Let's say you're at a party and a woman laughs at your joke a little too arm. She lays her hand on your bicep as she says goodbye, and your partner notices this. So later she says, "That woman was all over you." And she's half annoyed, but she's also kind of like half pleased. And you're standing there like, which is it? And what's the right answer? The right answer is to be warm and be social and be charismatic. Be yourself and let your attention come home to her. She wants to win the game, but she also wants to know that other women are playing. So make it clear that she won. Number 7, she wants you to be both available and elusive. She wants you to pick up when she calls. And she also finds it incredibly attractive when you are locked in on your work or your craft or your mission, when she has to compete for your attention just a little bit. So, for example, let's say you've cleared the whole weekend to be with her, and by Sunday she's feeling kind of restless. She needs to get out and get some space. Then the next weekend you've buried yourself in a project and you're not available, and suddenly she's texting you, trying to engage you, telling you that you're ignoring her. This isn't manipulation, this is polarity. A man with purpose is attractive because his world doesn't collapse without her. And paradoxically, that actually makes her feel safer. No one wants to be someone else's entire world, not in a healthy dynamic, because we realize the risks associated with that, the pressure, the responsibility. So don't manufacture unavailability. Just make sure that you keep doing the things that you love to do. Don't abandon the things that make you you in a relationship. Number 8, she wants you to be supported by community, but not too much. She says, "I love that you have your guy friends. You should totally take a guy's weekend together." She wants you to have friends and a life outside of the relationship. See the previous note. But she also has opinions about which friend and how much time and whether those relationships are serving both of us or just you. So let's say you plan that guy's trip and she's like, "You should go." And then a week before, she's shifting, she feels like the energy's a little off, and she's like, "Oh, you've been gone a lot lately." The underlying need is almost always about feeling prioritized. When you invest in your friendships, make sure you're also investing in couple time and that you're bringing the same energy and enthusiasm to both. If she feels like she is naturally your first choice, then supporting you on going on the fishing trip is totally a non-issue. And this one is more important than ever, with the rates of male loneliness being spoken about very widely on the news, but I think actually that's a little bit late. This is something that men in our culture have been dealing with for years. It has never been more important for you to prioritize having a social life and having a community of friends that, yes, support your highest version of yourself. And I have to say, I relate to women here because I definitely understand when you see, that all the time that your boyfriend is spending with his guy friends, he's like crushing a bunch of beers and doing nothing but playing Madden. I understand how in her mind that doesn't look like a really quality friendship, but we can't measure men and women's relationships through the lens of the opposite gender. Invest in your friendships. That's all I want to say. Number 9, she wants you to be both soft and hard. She wants you to tear up at the movie. She wants emotional vulnerability and tenderness, but she also wants you to go check out the bump in the middle of the night without any hesitation. She wants both, and she wants you to know which one the moment calls for without being told. So let's say you tear up at something meaningful. She's there for you. She holds your hand. She says, "This is what I love so much about you." And then 2 weeks later, you're shaken, you're anxious, you're visibly stressed. and her energy shifts. The same vulnerability that was very attractive in a controlled dose at scale can feel very threatening. Here's the truth. Most women do deeply desire emotional depth, but there is a difference between a man who can access his feelings from a grounded place and a man who gets overwhelmed by them. And this isn't about emotional suppression. This is just maturity across the board. I think men want the exact same thing from women. We want emotions that don't knock us off our center, and we are fearful of emotions that seem to have the other person be totally out of control. So your job is to build maturity and build range, to be the man who can hold his own sadness and also go check out the sound that happened in the middle of the night. That's not a contradiction. That's actually what all of us want. That's just integration. And then number 10, she wants you to be both masculine and sensual. She wants you to take charge, to be decisive, sexually confident, assertive. She also wants tenderness, slow hands, soft mouth, someone who can tune in subtly and experience and bring sensation to her in the same way that she experiences it. And here's the part that nobody talks about. Sometimes that craving for softness and sensuality is so specific that she wonders what it might be like to explore with another woman. Not because you're not enough, but because the spectrum of what she wants is wide enough that it may include experiences beyond what any one person, either male or female, can provide on their own. Which brings me to something that I've been building. My new course covers everything under the group sex umbrella: threesomes, swinging, play parties, foursomes, orgies, you name it. But most importantly, it covers the communication frameworks, the emotional prep, and the conversations that you need to have before, during, and after. You will learn how to set the right conditions going in, read the room when the dynamic shifts, and handle the debrief that most people skip and regret. There is an incredible workbook with tons of flowcharts and resources and worksheets to help you figure this out together. And there is an exclusive interview with the founder of one of the most respected play parties in all of North America. But the thing that I am particularly proud of is actually the Positions Playbook for professional performers demonstrating every major group configuration on camera: MMF, FFM, foursomes, swinging, parallel play, etc. Real bodies in real positions, and something that I've always wanted to film, and a live consent conversation on camera. As with all of my courses, it comes with a 90-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So if you just want to peek inside and see what's going on in there, I welcome you to do so. And if it's not for you, you can get your money back, no questions asked. All right, so if you looked at this list and thought that is impossible, and then Caitlin, are you trying to tell me I should let her sleep with women? Yeah, totally. I get it. That's a lot. I totally understand. But here's what you gotta get. These contradictions are not evidence that women are unreasonable. They're not evidence that relationships are rigged against you. They're evidence that human desire is alive and layered. And women contain multitudes. And if you're honest with yourself, you probably also want some contradictory things from her. Like you want her to be sweet and prude and virginal, but also a wild, sexy temptress in the sheets, right? I couldn't have said that in a dorkier way. The men who thrive in relationships are not the ones who crack some perfect code. They're certainly not the ones who study all the ways that they should perform masculinity in order to dominate women. They're the ones who stay curious. They're the ones who ask instead of assuming, who don't take this paradox personally because it's not about you to begin with. It is an invitation to grow. She doesn't need you to be a superhero. She needs you to be the man who is paying attention, and you're here. So you clearly are. Which one of these hit the hardest for you? Please drop that in the comments. And if this video made you feel a little bit more sane about your relationship, make sure that you are subscribed. I post every week for the men who want to understand what is going on inside of women's minds instead of just guessing. Thank you, and I will see you here next time. Bye.